O'Reilly's succeeded in doing what the lady that was there said that she would do. They just didn't do it in exactly the way that I was told it was going to be done. So I want to ask you guys. So I have a tendency to be very tenacious about things and not let things go. Should I have just walked away from it? Getting my money back wasn't something I was trying to do.
No, I don't think so.
I probably would have looked at the oil before I poured it in my Jeep.
What else did they give us?
I think
$50, and they give us 250. Well, last year I think it was 150 for fuel, but they said 250 for this year. I'm like, well, good, because I just busted 150 last year on fuel.
Yeah, it's somewhere between 150 to 200 most of the time.
Yeah, and then they pay for the camping spot,
right,
and pay for the trail fees.
Yeah. Well, yep.
How do you go about registering to be a driver or leader, spotter? How do you sign up for that? Because I've never seen that option. All I see is pay the $300 or $400 to go ride trails that I can pay $35 to do.
You have to blow zero on the breathalyzer.
Yeah,
I can do that. Currently, I can do that.
I fell.
I'm sorry, Travis.
I fell into it by luck.
Oh, you're good.
I fell into it by luck.
It's kind of an invitation thing. You don't sign up. You don't sign up for it. If you go to one or you know somebody and you know the trails well, so like you know the trails well and you know any of the guides that are out there, or ideally you get a hold of the coordinator for that event. The coordinator's in charge of the whole thing, and he's the one that lines up the trail guides.
Okay.
So what color is your group?
Brown. I think they need to make brown for the higher class, because people getting scared and shitting in their pants, but that's just
all right, guys.
Thought.
Don't want to mean to interrupt the conversation. That's really what we're here for, so you guys can to talk to one another. But you can continue the conversation after we wrap up the recording for our Wednesday roundtable. Of course, I say Wednesday. It's Tuesday. We record on Tuesday, and we edit and get it out for Wednesday. And truth be told, I don't do much editing. I just kind of pretty it up a little bit because it's too much fun having you guys on here and speaking your mind. So, and I do want to start with thanking you guys. Many of you, if not all, are here every week after week after week. And it means a lot to me and a lot to the show, because that means we're doing something that you guys enjoy. And I have no doubt that one of the reasons why you're here is because all the other people that are here week after week. So thank you very much for being here with us. So I'll mention that we are live on YouTube and we are live on Instagram. We were talking earlier. Travis was telling me how the Instagram thing is a little irritating because the video is kind of in the middle and it kind of cuts off both sides. And so you guys may have been experienced this as well, the listeners, the viewers out there. And I've tested it on my Android phone, and it will be a narrow view for about 5 or 10 seconds, and then it will go to the widescreen view, which works perfectly fine. Travis is on an iPhone, so maybe it's an iPhone thing that it doesn't do that. But I thought I'd let you guys know that we're aware that it may be narrow. And I can tell you the fix really is just to go over to YouTube and watch us. It's really, really simple. xjtalk.com/live, Tuesday and Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Now, we do Tuesday and Thursday. The Thursday one isn't really official. It's not really recorded and put out anyplace. It is just there for people to come and join and have fun twice a week. Or Steve is on yet. I don't see Steve. So anyway, thank you guys very much for being here. I am Tony, and this is the Jeep Talk Show Roundtable episode. Hello, Zoom people.
Hello.
Hey, Tony.
Hello.
Howdy.
Also, too, you guys may or may not know, but you can chat with us during the live show. And as you can see on your screen right now, Fur Monkey Jeep Works says, if you can pick up any Jeep you own, which would you use and why? If you could pick any Jeep to own. Got to read. Reading is difficult. I like the TJ. Although, I think I would probably want a Comanche. I think Comanches are really, really neat, and I've wanted one since I rear-ended one after having the XJ for about 3 months. That's when I found out that the combination disc and drum brakes doesn't really stop very well on the mildly wet roads.
Rick from Arkansas, if it could be any Jeep, I think that Jeep that Greg's got, that's that he said, was it the Egyptian one or the one that's like extra long? I think that'd be kind of cool to get one of those and build it up, with it already having the long wheelbase and kind of unique. It'd be different. Not everybody'd have one.
A lot of things already done for you. A lot of things that you're trying to do to yours.
Yep, for sure. And I've got a TJ, and I love my TJ.
Looks like your video froze, Rick.
Oh, did it?
No, he's fine.
Is he? It's frozen on my screen.
But it froze because it was my suggestion to do the gallery view.
Well, so
Gotta blame somebody.
While we're paused here, is registration for the Jamboree tomorrow or Thursday?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Registration. Yeah, tomorrow evening, the registration. All the drivers come in. We have a drivers meeting at 1. And I guess that's when they hand out all the stuff to us.
Poor George. George is getting ready to get a divorce so he can get more Jeeps. George's wife said, what did he say?
I feel you, George. I feel you.
So, Tony, your question that you started this off with was if we could have any Jeep to off-road with or just to have?
Well, actually, that was one of our live viewers that asked here we go. I'll put it back up on the screen. If you can pick any Jeep to own, which would you use and why?
JL.
That's interesting.
I would take a JL just after all the crap I learned after getting a TJ and wanting that little bit longer wheelbase.
So you would get a JLU or a JL?
I'm sorry, LJ.
LJ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I make that same mistake.
Yeah,
it's so confusing.
There's too many letters.
Well, I'd probably get a JT if I was going to add to. I don't have to get rid of any Jeeps, right? I can keep my other Jeeps and just get one more.
Oh, I think that's a guarantee. You get to keep everything you already have.
All right. then I'd go for a Gladiator, either a Mojave or a Rubicon.
Nah.
Yeah.
I really like my Gladiator. It is really, really nice. But I haven't had a new Jeep since the XJ.
Can I go with one of everything?
Oh, I like the way he thinks. Would that include a Compass and a Renegade? And
jeez.
Of course.
Well, you gotta have something to drive on the bad weather days that you don't care about.
You gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah. No, that was target practice or something.
All right. Well, all that fun going back and forth with the videos and stuff. Let's get to our actual first question. For you guys that have subscribed to our newsletter, you know what this first question is, and there is a story that goes along with this question. So, what is your local auto parts horror story? Do you have any? I think everybody does. How about you, Chip?
Well, it's not pertaining to my Jeep. It's my tow rig.
That's fine.
I've got a 2003 GMC diesel that I use for my tow rig. And because of the ice or because of the salt up here, my fuel line's rotted out. And it's taken a month to get the right parts to replace the fuel line because my local suppliers, it was a Napa, kept bringing in the wrong part. So finally had to go to the GM dealer to get some of the adapters.
All right. Jacob, I think you're a man that's had some problems with local parts shop. How about you, Rick?
Well, I was trying to find a picture of, I've told this story on here before. Right before I left for EJS last year, I ran out of time to get the control arms I wanted for my, change out those axles. And my front upper control arms. So I just ran down to O'Reilly's because I looked it up and they just happened to have some. I don't know why. But so I just got some new upper control arms from O'Reilly's, and of course it was just the folded metal ones.
Right.
Well, when I was
that's interesting. I didn't realize they sold those.
Well, I didn't know either, but they do, and they might as well not because they're useless.
Was that the one that was hanging on by a thread all the way back home?
Yep, it was folded. They both folded in half, and it's kind of a. Let's see, it's kind of got an angle going down like this, and then it's got a top. It's got a top. It's kind of like a channel, but they're kind of like this, and then on top it's got a piece. Both the side pieces had completely tore. And it was just the strap on top, and it had completely folded.
God, that's scary. And and everybody doesn't know this. You were driving back from EJS on that.
Yeah, right. Well, yes, I drove, but
to Arkansas. I mean, I'm not Colorado or anything. Right. Well, that's a good 1,000 miles, right?
Now, yeah, but that didn't happen. I mean, they lasted long enough. They lasted about 6 months, but I was actually in Missouri up at S'more when that happened, when they folded.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I wouldn't, they lasted. I mean, they lasted for the whole trip to Arizona and Utah and all of that and back. And matter of fact, they lasted for my trip to, after that to Hidden Falls and back, which was, another
well, they were good. They just had undocumented feature.
If you think 6 months is good, I guess, but no, I didn't think it's too good.
Was the price right when you bought them?
I don't remember them being very expensive. I mean, they may have been like,
well, now you know why they didn't last.
$80 a piece or something like that. I don't remember what they were. I mean, I don't remember them being very expensive, but I mean, they were brand new. I mean, I thought surely, they last me a year or two. I'll figure out what I want to do for upper control arms. But that was kind of scary, actually. I mean, if that had happened on the road, no telling what, that Jeep would have went this way and that way all at the same time.
So it wasn't a clue whenever they came with ratchet straps and JB Weld?
Well, it was the tag on there. It said, "Do not remove," and I removed that tag.
Oh, it's like the bed thing. Yeah. So JR Creations 92 says literally having to get the guys on the computer advanced auto parts because he couldn't find the parts I needed, found them in 5 minutes. So yeah, I mean, the computers are amazing.
The horror story of going to any part store is talking to the people behind the counter in 99% of the situations.
Does anybody remember going to Radio Shack?
Oh yeah, not for car parts. So,
no, they would really be confused. But just anything at Radio Shack was always a challenge, and I think that's the same folks that used to work at Radio Shack.
I can imagine people that
amazing.
There are some good people at parts places, but those are the ones that you find out about, and you always want to talk to them when you go there.
Well, I can only imagine when it comes to building a rig that, isn't all stock, and you go in and you're just looking for a random piece. And,
can I have your VIN, please? No, you may not.
Yeah. Your make model, it's like, it ain't going to help. Well, I need your make model. It ain't going to help. But I need your year. Oh, Jesus Christ. Never fucking mind. That's usually what I end up with.
Now you just made me remember, Roger. I did have a Jeep story for parts.
See?
I went in for a master cylinder. I did. Well, it's been like 8 years ago, but my master cylinder went out, and I was in the middle of a jamboree and had to get back the next day. And so I go in and try to find a part. They're like, "Well, what year's your Jeep?" I said, "At that time, I'm driving a '78 CJ5." He goes, "Well, okay, I got one." And I'm like, No. It's got a 72 GMC master cylinder on it. It's got a Chevy 305 fuel injected under the hood. And he goes, "What the crap?" And he couldn't figure it out. I'm like, just look up a 72 GMC. We'll be fine. Give me one of those.
Well, you know how you got the wrong parts guy when you call him up and you tell him you're looking for a set of shocks, and the guy says, "What are shocks?"
Oh, good Lord. Shocking.
I had that. I was down in Arizona and I had a shock that I was looking to replace, and I called up and advanced, and when the guy said, "What are shocks?" I said, "Never mind, I'll call a different parts store."
Yeah.
I refuse to go to AutoZone unless it's the last possible place to go. I have just not had good luck at AutoZone. I mean, you want to buy bulbs, incandescent bulbs, which I don't need those anymore. Sure.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I mean, all of them will have decent parts guys, but more often than not, they don't.
So George says in our chat here, he said in our on-screen chat, you can do this if you're on YouTube Live or in Instagram Live. Autoport stores are like Home Depots. Used to hire knowledgeable people, but now only hire cashiers who don't know anything. And they want you to go through self-checkout, so they don't even want to hire cashiers.
Yeah, they don't want to pay you for checking yourself out. And when it comes to you,
where's my 1099?
You ask them how to find something in the store or if they have something, and what's the first thing they do? They grab their phone and they look it up on the website. It's like, I could have done that. I mean, you used to be able to just ask somebody and they'd say it's in aisle such and such, or it's over here, over there. Not anymore. It's like they don't know either.
Mm-hmm. They should at least give you like a 10% discount or something for checking your own self out. I think so.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Oh, they're saving lots of money, as you guys are aware, if they don't have to have somebody check you out. And of course, I think they're just trying to compete with Amazon. But the problem is you still have to get up off your ass and go in there and hunt for the stuff and then get it and leave. I know some of you guys are still like that. I would just as soon buy it from Amazon and get it here the next day.
I think they took all the cash registers and turned them into the people that walk the groceries out to the cars and load people's cars for them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll make a prediction. You guys know how I follow Tesla, and of course the Tesla bots are coming. Pretty soon we're going to be overwhelmed with service because they'll be able to spend $8,000 for an employee that will talk to you, carry your stuff out, may even give you a behind-the-scenes hand job.
Still won't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. No, they'll be looking up on AI using Grok. They'll know everything you're talking about. They'll know what you're talking about before you say it.
Yep.
Go to your online search.
When I grew up, AI meant artificial insemination. Is that?
That's much too much time with the bull for me. All right,
we don't want to know about Chip's adventures.
So this brings me to the reason for this question. I had an interesting chain of events. I changed the oil in the Gladiator for the first time, me changing it, which I'm just so happy I don't have to go to the dealership for that anymore. But when I was putting in the Baxter Performance adapter, I did not read the instructions while I was doing it, and I thought that you would hand tight that device in there. And what I was remembering is that the filter is just hand tight. So when I put the oil in there and ran the engine, I got a lot of oil on the driveway because it was shooting out between the Baxter adapter. Yeah. So
did you forget the O-rings and everything?
No, it was there. I just did the hand tight and then backed it up 180 degrees so it would line up right. And I did everything like I was supposed to, with the exception of just torquing the hell out of it and then backing it 180 degrees. Anyway, I just had the five quarts of oil, so I needed more oil. So I went on to O'Reilly's and I purchased some of the Mobil 1 oil that I wanted to get, just the same stuff that I'd gotten from Amazon. And I couldn't drive the Jeep like that. So my stepson drove by. He was coming over that evening anyway, so he drove over there and picked it up. I'd already paid for it online. So got home, he brought it home, and I went out there to put the oil in, and I didn't know how much oil was on the ground. So I started off with, I think, 1.5 quarts and then measured it. And it didn't require a lot, so a lot of the oil was still in there. And but as I was pouring the oil in, and it was Mobil 1 oil, as I was pouring the oil in, I noticed the oil was green. And I thought maybe this is some sort of shamrock event that was going on. And I looked at the bottle; it was the wrong oil. It was actually oil ESP X2 made for European vehicles. And I was like, son of a bitch, why in the hell? I mean, this is what I'm talking about, where you go and you get this stuff and then they screw it up. So I called to find out. I figured that it was just some sort of marketing thing and it was probably fine. But I called and spoke with somebody at O'Reilly's and told them what had happened. They were very apologetic. And mind you, this is a local shop. I mean, a local O'Reilly's. So they picked out the oil that I had ordered. I mean, I ordered the right one. They gave me the wrong one. And they looked it up and they said, no, it should be fine. And I said, well, I'm still a little nervous about it. Can I replace the oil with the right oil? And I said, keep in mind, I've already used about 1.5 quarts, 2 quarts out of it. They said, yeah, absolutely no problem. The lady was super nice. And I said, you know, and also too, I wish you guys had gotten it right, because I'm wasting my time in doing this, and I shouldn't have to do that. And she goes, well, I can give you a full refund. So we'll replace the oil and refund you your $38. And I went, wow, that's not what I was trying to do, but absolutely. Thank you very much. That's great customer service. And so I got around to going to O'Reilly's today to swap out the oil. She wasn't there. Nobody was there that knew anything about this deal, and she didn't write it down anywhere. So the acting manager was talking to me, and he says, he called me bro. And I stopped him and I said, I'm not your bro, I'm a customer. And if you guys don't want to honor this, that's fine, but I want your names. So when I go to O'Reilly's and tell them what's going on, they know who it was that I was talking to that, you know, didn't honor this agreement. And they were, I mean, nice, gave me the names, and I was done. I mean, I wasn't pissed off about it. I don't like having to go. I was already wasting my time, and now I'm wasting more of it. But they were going to make it right. So that was wonderful. So came home, and I waited. The lady that I had spoken to wasn't in yet. So I waited until about noon, gave the O'Reilly's a call, got hung up on, and thought to myself, surely not. Surely they don't know my caller ID. So I called back, got somebody on the phone, said, hey, can I talk to Rachel? And they said, sure. So I got Rachel on the phone, and to her credit, she says, no, absolutely. I told you that we would give you a refund and replace the oil. And I said, that's great. I was 99% sure, but you know, and again, that wasn't what I was trying to get out of you guys. I just wanted the oil replaced. And, so she says, let me go talk to the folks and see what we can do as far as getting the refund. 15 minutes later, she gets on the phone. She says, sorry, no, we can't do that. We called the district manager, and he said, no, we can't do that, and you should call customer service.
Well, you know, every O'Reilly sign that you'll ever see is lying to you, because there's right on their sign, it says guaranteed lowest price, and that's a lie. I buy all my truck oil from. I used to buy my truck oil from them, and the place, the O'Reilly's by me, refused to sell it to me at the Walmart price because it was supposedly cheaper than what they buy it for. So I told the guy,
that's not really your problem, is it?
That's what I told him. I said, well, then go. I said, go out there and take that fucking sign down because it says guaranteed lowest price. And he wouldn't do it. So I no longer go to the O'Reilly's for my oil.
Yeah. So there was this thing that I always talked about whenever I was in IT. It's called speed bumping. And what you do is you make it difficult for the person that's trying to get help or service or whatever, because depending on the size of the speed bump, they'll just give up. And I felt that's what they were doing to me. That it was just like, no, we don't do that. The lady that said that she was going to do that, she can't do that. She can't make that agreement. I don't care. That's internal. I'm here for the oil and my money back. And so I took their names and went home, called the lady. She said, yeah, I did tell you that, and came back, said, hey, you got to call customer service. Okay, so now I get to waste more of my time. So I called customer service, and granted, I could have just dropped it, but I wasn't going to do that. And I got customer service on. I told the young lady the story, which she wanted to hear. And then after about 5 minutes of me bringing her up to date, she goes, okay, let me get you over to the department you need to talk to.
Nothing like having to tell your story multiple times. I love it when they do that.
Speed bump. So I got over to the guy. It took a little while for them to get on the phone as well. You can well imagine. This time I was talking to a guy, super, super friendly, super nice, very apologetic. And I kept telling him, it's not your fault. He goes, no, but from a O'Reilly standpoint, very, very sorry about this. So I told him what was going on. And I said, oh, by the way, one of the things I originally called O'Reilly's local about is the oil I put in my Jeep okay to use? And they said it was, but given all the situations that were going on, I asked him to check it, which he did and was very thorough. He seemed to be technical, and he says, yeah, it's not a problem. I said, great. He goes, now let me go over there and find out what we can do about getting your money back. So I said, great. So he was gone for at least 15, 20 minutes. And when he came back, he says, we can't refund the purchase. Yeah. The purchase of the oil. He goes, but what I can do is I can give you a coupon for $45. It was a $38 purchase, or I can give you a gift card. And I said okay. And I asked him a few questions about it. And I said, so this would be something I could only use at O'Reilly's. He goes, yes. I said, okay. And it's smart to do that because they don't, if they give you $50, you're not buying $50 worth of their product. I mean, it's $50 to you, but it's certainly not $50 to them. So anyway, I said, great. We talked about it a little bit. I didn't want to go pick up the gift card. I didn't want them having to mail it to me. I said, yeah, just give me the rewards thing, the coupon thing. So O'Reilly's have, I think it's O rewards or something like that. So they have a thing that you can get, and he put 1,500 credits or something on it. But anyway, he upped it to $50. So now I'm going to have the ability to buy something at O'Reilly's up to $50, and I don't have to pay anything, which is great. So customer service, O'Reilly's succeeded in doing what the lady that was there said that she would do. They just didn't do it in exactly the way that I was told it was going to be done. So I want to ask you guys. So I have a tendency to be very tenacious about things and not let things go. Should I have just walked away from it? Getting my money back wasn't something I was trying to do.
No, I don't think so.
I probably would have looked at the oil before I poured it in my Jeep.
Man, you wouldn't think that changing oil is tiring, but I was dog-ass tired. I'm just not used to working on the Jeep.
Growing up, my old man had a saying that he'd go into a grocery store and they'd jip him a nickel. He'd go back and complain. And it seemed like, well, it's only a nickel. But he'd always say, the first guy will dip you a nickel, the next guy will dip you a dime. And as long as you allow it to happen, it'll keep increasing. So it goes from a nickel to a dime to a quarter to $1 to $5, to $20. So yeah, I mean, I'd do exactly what you did. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm in Chip's boat. I would have probably looked at the oil before I put it in. But.
Well, and I'll mention this. So it was the same shaped bottle as the mobile one, the one I had ordered. It had green on the front of it, just like the one I'd ordered. And there was a label that somebody had kind of halfway peeled off the thing over the top, all over the front. And of course I was tired from doing all the stuff. And if I had just done the oil change, I don't think it would have been so bad, but putting in the adapter and everything else, just standing up is tough for me these days. I sit down too much. So I was tired. I wanted to be done with this. It should have been fixed a long time before all the shenanigans that went on with the wrong oil. So I was just happy to be done with it. And and I'm the same way. The way that I was told no at the O'Reilly's, they didn't even try to call the lady who had made the deal. They just said she can't make that deal. She has no authority to do that. It doesn't matter. You have a customer that was told that, and I suspect that they figured I was just lying about it because I was trying to get something for nothing. And I understand that concept, but I didn't like it. And so I did something about it. So I'm glad you guys support it, because I know I can be very anal about things.
I'm kind of, it just depends on the situation. I can, one situation I can let slide, and then somebody can just say it a certain way, or there's just something that happens that just kind of gets my, I don't know, just gets me. And then I'm like, no, if I got to come stand on top of your desk, I'm going to come stand on top of your desk until you get this situation worked out. Cause it's just one of those things. You just, when like this situation here, obviously they got your blood up a little bit and you're like, no.
The bro thing is what really got me. I'm talking to a manager. He goes, bro. And I went, I'm not your bro. I'm a customer. And actually I mentioned this to the guy on the phone at O'Reilly's corporate, and he goes, oh, that's so unprofessional. He should never have said that. I tell you what, at least the guy at corporate had it going on. I told him about the show. I said, you might want to listen to our roundtable episode, because I want to be talking about it. I didn't start with that. I didn't start with, hey, I got a podcast. You guys need to straighten up. I once all the deal was done and everything had been taken care of, I mentioned the podcast to the guy on the phone. He told me, he goes, he would highly recommend that I call them first. And I said, I didn't want, my goal here is not to get anybody in trouble. I just wanted to, make this thing right and get what I was told that I would get. And so I tried dealing with the local store first. And then when they told me to call you guys is when I called you guys.
Well, I mean, considering they can't find parts without a computer, I mean, you expect them to make decisions too? You know, the people in the store?
Customer service is pretty easy to make a decision for.
That's why they want you to call the main office, because, the people in the store, they can't make decisions.
Well, a manager should be able to make a decision, but as far as finding parts, they're dealing with every single make and model and every single part ever made. So they have to be able to look up part numbers. You can't remember all that on your own.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm not saying all of it, but
I'm sure there's a lot of common ones, especially if it has to do with Chevrolets.
Well, I mean, most of those places don't pay worth a damn either. So,
yeah.
They're getting bottom of the barrel employees.
Exactly. And that was kind of my Radio Shack comment. There was the same thing, because that was just like high school students and men that had child predator convictions.
Yep.
Well, they also don't hire people who have any car knowledge in the first place.
We're kind of a rare bunch. A lot of people don't have car knowledge. And it would scare the hell out of me having a machine that I didn't understand.
Yeah. A lot of people in my neighborhood think I'm some kind of mechanic, and I'm not at all. The only vehicle I know anything about is this TJ.
Do they come and ask you for help?
Yeah, they do. They come ask me, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Do they come when you're working on the TJ? I don't think it's out front, but when they're working on the TJ, do they come stand around and ask you what you're doing and you got any beer and those type of things?
One of my old neighbors, of course, he's not there now, but he used to come over all the time, and he would just just talk my ear off the whole time I'm working on the Jeep, and I'd be under. I mean, I'd crawl under I got to where I just talked to him no matter what. I didn't stop what I was doing, because if I did, I'd have never got anything done. I just
of course,
kept on doing.
Yeah. So, have you ever fallen asleep underneath? I remember when I was doing the clutch on my wife's Jeep. I fell asleep. I want to get it done. That's the bad thing. That's one of the reasons why I get so tired, is I want to get it done. I don't want to come back. I don't want to rest and come back, rest and come back, rest and come back. So I kind of do it to myself, doing it that way. But I literally, it's amazing how comfortable concrete can be when you're tired.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever fallen asleep under there.
I've fallen asleep changing oil on the truck once.
I fell asleep under a car, but I was hungover, so.
But he's saying he has an excuse.
It's like that cold porcelain after a night out in college.
Yeah, praying to the porcelain gods.
Yeah,
telling them how much if you just get me through this night, I'll never do it again. And then the next night. Then next night it's a repeat.
So it was great that eventually O'Reilly's took care of my problem, but I will mention that I spent an hour on the phone with corporate, and then I spent another 20 minutes on the phone with the local store, and I had to go and swap out the oil. That's what started the whole ordeal. So I probably spent close to 2 hours of my time for a mistake they made. So I don't think that they understand that there's work involved whenever you get a wrong part, wrong oil, whatever, and then you have to go and try to make it right. And them just doing the basic, which is replacing what they gave you wrong, I think it needs to be more than that. I think there has to be a bite to it, because if there's not a bite to it, it's really easy. We don't have to give you the right thing, because the onus is on you to get the right thing. And we'll give you the right thing back. It's no big deal. He said, when I gave him the oil that I had used, he said, was it half empty like this? I said, no, I used some of the oil before I realized what the problem, that it was the wrong oil. It being green was my first clue. Shamrock. It was like, what is that St. Patty's Day? When is that? Has that already happened?
March
17th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen no green oil before.
Yeah. But I will say this: my local O'Reilly's. I mean, they as soon as I walk in there, they're like, "Hey, Rick, what you doing to your Jeep now?" I mean, they all pretty much know me, and they've been pretty good. Even though that, and I've got. I mean, I bought a lot of stuff there. I hadn't had.
They see dollar signs in their year-end bonus.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's probably it too. And they're used to me having. I got this vehicle and that vehicle and this vehicle on my Jeep. All kinds of different parts on my Jeep, so they don't even they know I'm driving a Jeep, and they say which vehicle are we buying a part for your Jeep this time. So
yeah, I love those kind of relationships. And it's kind of like the show. You have a relationship with the hosts on the show, and that makes it fun. It makes it interesting, and that's the same thing when you go and you deal with somebody business wise. And it didn't even have to be a parts place. It could just be somebody with another company that you work with. Maybe you're ordering steel from them, or so on and so forth. It's that fun conversation that you have, and maybe a little catching up. And sometimes you may find out that they do Jeeps too.
Yeah, and now if I do have a technical situation that I'm kind of worried about, that I hope they have some technical knowledge, I'll go to our local Napa guy, and I don't know if it's that way for everywhere, but here our Napa guys, I mean, they own the store and they run that thing, and they know, they've got a lot of knowledge in there. Now the kids at O'Reilly's, they're all the
bro dudes, yeah.
Bro dudes.
I'd agree with you. I think most of the Napas I've been to are generally, they're almost like more farmers that own them around by me. So they'll have a lot of implement stuff in there, but they're always very knowledgeable at the Napas.
Yep. They when I was looking for the correct fluid for those Dana 44s, because I wasn't sure about the limited slip, because the TJ Dana 44's got that limited slip thing in there.
Friction modifiers or something in it.
Right. And I wasn't sure if I needed that for the front and the back, just for the back, for what, and they were very helpful with that whole situation.
Yeah, it's amazing when you get good customer service, and I mean technical customer service. It's amazing, and it makes you want to go back there. I would think, and they probably want to do this anyway, but I would think that you need at least 2 highly technical people on your staff so that they can help people answer those questions that they have. And just because we know a little bit about Jeeps, there's people that are just getting started working on their vehicles, working on their Jeeps. And they have some just basic questions. Of course, they could come here and we'll answer them for them. Where the hell is Henderson? Speaking about answering basic questions. Damn it, he's been to Congress and now he doesn't show up for the Zoom meetings anymore.
We'll answer the questions, but we can't guarantee that it'll be the right answer.
Just give it the good college try, as I say.
And the problem with Napa, though, is they're so few and far between at this point. Like, they're just losing. Like, the closest one to me is 40 miles.
Well, and they always seem to be more expensive than the others, too.
Well, they probably pay their people more because they have technical abilities.
Advance has shut down a bunch of stores.
Yeah.
Advance is pretty good. So right here, about maybe a mile, maybe 2 miles from the house, we have a O'Reilly's, an Advanced, and an AutoZone. And I don't know of any Napa that's close by. Actually, I do know where there's a Napa, but it's probably about 5 miles away. So it's relatively close.
Well, what's interesting for me is I've got literally across the street from each other an O'Reilly's distribution center with the storefront and a Napa distribution center with the storefront. So I can go into either one of those. Parts are always there. They're literally across the street from each other, which is pretty crazy.
So I didn't mean to take over the horror story, but does anybody else did this shake loose any horror stories for various auto parts places? I mean, admittedly, mine's not that bad, but it's like the guy at O'Reilly said, if they had given me the wrong oil and it wasn't good for my engine, it could have toasted the engine. So it's important to them to make sure they give me the right thing. I mean, if they give me the wrong thing, it's what I asked for. That's different.
Did you order it on? I didn't catch the whole story. So did you order it online and then they picked it for you?
Yeah. Because I didn't know how much oil had gone out of the Jeep. My wife's TJ, the battery was dead because she never drives it. So I was charging the battery and I thought, Micah's coming over. I'm going to see if he wouldn't mind stopping at O'Reilly. So I paid for it. They even said it was ready to be picked up. So he went by and picked it up. He didn't know what he was getting other than just the order that I had placed.
Got it.
The only thing I've had is getting bad parts out of the box. Like on a previous tow rig, I bought an alternator, like an upgraded alternator. It was like a 240 amp, and it had a bad voltage regulator right out of the box, which wasn't a big deal, except getting them to test it and warranty it so that I could get another one. It was like it would work for 10 seconds, not work for 10 seconds, and getting it to test at the right time was a pain.
Mm-hmm. See, that's a customer service thing. It could be you, it could be the vehicle that you're running it in, or it could be the part. And the easiest thing to do is not waste more of your time. Just give you another part.
Yeah. And it wasn't like I was trying to get money or anything like that. I just wanted one that worked. Like, I just wanted to exchange it. And it finally came down to me making the guy stand in the parking lot with the tester until my voltage light in the truck came on. I go, okay, do it now.
Yeah.
And that's when we finally figured it out.
And don't get me wrong. I know that there's people out there. I mean, hell, there's people that claim they never got, they cancel Uber rides while they're in the middle of the ride. They get food and claim that it never got delivered. There's people trying to get over on companies all the time. And it's very frustrating. And I can imagine even from an employee perspective, it's frustrating, but you can't imagine. Well, it's like being a police officer. Police see the worst of the population, but you can't assume everybody is out to get you or out to get something for nothing.
Somebody popped up and said, I got dealership horror stories, but I imagine that would be about a 3-hour show. Wouldn't it?
Oh, do you remember when we were talking bad about the dealership techs, and it really created a stir?
Well, and this sounds terrible, but frankly, there's a lot of really dumb customers out there.
Oh, like absolutely. My
previous employer, I would have people come up to me and go, hey, I'm looking for this. And I'm like, oh, we haven't made that in, 10 years. And they go, oh, no, I bought it here last week. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
We haven't made it in 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, John, do you have time to tell us about your General Motors issue?
Oh, the famous Tahoe?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah,
or they didn't put it back together?
But that wasn't really a dealership problem as much. I mean, it was dealership during COVID time, right? So no rentals, no cars, no nothing. So there was those issues, but that was just a piece of crap vehicle, right? So
but they did that useless cover that they put over the engine. They didn't put it.
That's not the GM.
Oh, that wasn't the Tahoe?
That was my Jeep.
Oh no!
So the 3.6 and the JK has a heat shield on the top of it.
And
I know it sounds like it's probably useless and blah blah, but I can tell you, if you're not running it, you can smell. It just smells like it's running hotter and like.
Oh, is it cooking the hood? I was
going to Colorado in it after I got an oil change. I thought I was having like an electrical fire problem. Like we pulled over several times because of the smells that were coming out of there, and I popped the hood and looked at it and. Like, that doesn't look right. It took me about 2 or 3 times of actually taking the hood up before I realized I was missing the engine cover. So I got back from Colorado and went up to the dealer and was like, hey, where's my engine cover? You did the oil change and everything else. And they said, oh, we'll come back here. And there was several of them lined up against the wall. Apparently it was a very common thing for them to forget. So I can't even confirm that the engine cover I have on there now is the one that came when I bought it, right? Because I just grabbed one off the wall.
The nicest one.
That's scary, though.
You sure it wasn't your differential that you were smelling?
No. This was long before I had
the Zoom people never forget
buttons. So no, this was definitely it was just like a really strong electrical burn smell. And I'm not sure if it's something that would have gone away after a while, but I do know it was enough to be alarming, right? So it was kind of surprising. So. I'm not saying they're useful for everybody, but I run mine on there because that smell was not fun.
That's interesting.
It was kind of scary. We pulled over several times because it just smelled like an electrical fire. That's the only thing I can describe it with. I'm assuming it's the wire harnesses and all that, or which are normally protected from all that heat. We're suddenly getting bombarded by it.
So I was real happy to start doing my own oil changes, and boy, did I screw it up. So it doesn't have to be the service tech that screws it up. All right. So anybody else got a horror story before we move on to our next question? We're going to wedge one more question in here on tonight's episode. All right, so I was recently doing it was Tuesday's episode that I did with Wendy, flagship episode, and she was talking about trail cleanup and the pack it in, pack it out mentality. And Wendy is very aggressive about trash being out on the trail, and even including feces. So like you're picking up after your dog and so on and so forth. And it just kind of hit me. If you can't have poop outside, why are you having to pick that up off of the trail? So I'm just curious. Pack it in, pack it out. I agree with tread lightly, all that. But what do you think is trash? So let's go with Chip. Chip would be very good about this. Chip is involved in a lot of these things. I don't know that you're a trash generator, Chip, but I think you pick it up.
I am not a trash generator. I helped coordinate a Tread Lightly event, and we picked up anything that wasn't there naturally, right? So the Tread Lightly event we went to up in Michigan, and Greg was there the first day we were building fences, but the second day I was picking up refrigerators, freaking dishwashers.
You mean like home refrigerators, not like the ones for overlanding?
We drug it out and threw it on a trailer. It was a home refrigerator drug back in the woods along a trail. And there was somebody had actually dismantled a yard barn and thrown all the scrap metal out in a pile. It's amazing what people throw out. I think the most disgusting one is when people change their baby's diapers and just throw them along the trail, or other hygiene items that I just don't want to touch that.
Yeah,
right?
we talked about that on Tuesday's flagship episode, and that makes perfect sense to me. That stuff would be out there for a long time.
And then the other one was, you're driving down the trail and maybe somebody that was in a side-by-side, I'm figuring, threw out a bunch of empty beer bottles.
Yep.
And I'm with Wendy on that. I mean, a can is one thing, right? Eventually it will decompose. I don't like it. But you throwing out bottle or glass or things that can get into tires or cause injury, there's so many things. And so, anything that wasn't there organically, don't throw it on the trail. Have one of those bags on the back of your Jeep. I mean, I'm coming out with more stuff than I went in with.
Let's see if Bob is paying attention. F you, Bob. We're using his full name. Not that you're in trouble, Bob, but what do you think is trash out on the trail? Is it everything, or just depends? Including
everything.
Depends.
If you took it out, you bring it back. I went, and a couple of years ago we did a trail cleanup, and we stopped by a little campsite, and we were picking up stuff. Not too bad. And all of a sudden somebody goes, "Oh, God." And we look over, we walk around, and there was a fork in the roots of trees. And the pile of shit and toilet paper was literally over a foot deep, filling the entire, like people had to have been putting their feet on the roots of the tree not to stand in the pile.
What they gonna eat?
So this is why you need to carry a Taco Bell sign with you, because that'd be great social media.
Oh, yeah. We got shovels off rigs, and
oh, jeez. I hope somebody else's shovel, because I wouldn't want that shovel back on my rig.
There's a reason if you have a nice big shovel, you put it on the outside.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who's going to get volunteered. But no, we've done trail cleanup, gone up to shooting areas that are popular and picked up 5-gallon pails. We give everyone a 5-gallon pail, and literally filled 5-gallon pails with brass and shotgun husk. We picked up tires, and this isn't like at the entrance or something. This is 5 miles, 10 miles into a 2-track trail that you really gotta work to get back there to some of these places. Mm-hmm. And they just trash the hell out of them. So anything you take in, you take back out. If you're with me and you've got to go to the bathroom, I'm going to reach in the back and pull out a gallon baggie, It's going to have a quart baggie with some wipes in it and some toilet paper in there. And when you come back out, you take care of the bag. It's yours to deal with, but you bring everything in back out with you.
Yeah.
Because in some areas, you can't leave anything there.
Mm-hmm.
It's against the rules. So,
Bob's going to be really handy on our Utah desert trip.
Yeah, I was asking Wendy, when you take the little bag for your poop, do you have to have a friend hold the bag, and is aim important?
You figure it out for yourself.
All right, so I get the feeling, I'm not saying this is true, but I get the feeling that Travis is a big litter bug out on the trail. Travis, what do you consider trash and not trash on the trail?
I've always considered, like, I've got my sack on the back of the Jeep. Well, occasionally, it depends on the time frame I'm out there. It's always in the Jeep. I'm not one to litter on a trail. I've never, like, I go for day trips. So I'm never going to the restroom on the trail. If I'm pissing on a trail, it's different. I'm peeing on the trail. It's not going in a cup or in a jar or in a sun drop bottle. Waylon, I've never cleaned up after him on the trail. Now, I don't think I've ever seen him go. We're out there. I'm sure he has, but I've not chased him down. He's not on a leash with me when we run around. He never leaves me too far, but I've never witnessed it, to be honest with you. But I don't think I'd go pick it up behind him. I've got bags in the Jeep if I need to. But anything I'm going to throw in the trash can, I'm going to carry out. I'm not going to, and that's glass. I mean, that's across the board.
I think there's common sense items like what everybody's here said, but the thing that surprises me whenever you're supposed to pick up the poop, I mean, if poop isn't supposed to be outside, my whole understanding of Earth is screwed up.
Right. I've never done that. And I've personally been camping, as a young man up in some natural area, or not natural, I mean, way off grid.
Mm-hmm. And
it wasn't done, but it's been, since I've done that was with my father, and this is going back, 30 years ago. We didn't do that. We didn't leave any trash, but we definitely didn't pick up or poop. And like I say, to this day, I've never cleaned up behind Waylon. I'll do it in the park. I'll do it, everywhere else.
Walking down the neighborhood or something like that. Sure, it makes sense.
Off road, I've never done it. But again, I've never seen him go. He kind of just chills out and he doesn't go. He's here with me.
Yeah, I saw that.
Can't see him.
I need the confidence that dogs have, because the dog's going to be pooping, staring me right in the eye. They don't care.
They don't care.
So the issue with carrying your poop out isn't one person pooping somewhere along a trail or something. It's that spots become popular, and pretty soon you've got people out there crapping. Sometimes hundreds and hundreds of people are using a trail over the course of the summer, and they're all crapping in that same little area.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. It's kind of like San Francisco.
That's why we carry a shovel,
Tony,
right?
In a populated area like that, Tony, if you got out of your JT and you just go off 20 feet off the trail and you step in somebody's poop and you don't realize it and you bring it back into your JT, how would you feel?
Shitty.
You don't get that smell out of carpet very well from experience.
He's calling customer service is what he's doing.
That's right. I'm calling Metal Masher customer service.
So if an animal shits out there 20 feet off the trail and you step in their shit and then drag that back into your Jeep, I mean, are you going to yell at the animals too for shitting out there? Because I guarantee you they're shitting out there too.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't get out of the Gladiator.
That's that bear and that poor rabbit.
Here's a better idea. Watch where you walk.
Good idea, Roger. Good idea.
And wear very well treaded shoes so that you don't fall when you step on the wrong thing. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up for tonight, man. Active conversation. Really appreciate it. I'm really glad the several of you supported my decision to keep after O'Reilly's until they either told me it's against our policy or gave me the money. So we got to 2 of our 4 questions. So these questions you'll probably see next week. And I know Bob was looking forward to this next one. Do you do coffee overlanding or on the trail for days? How do you get your fix? I mean, those of us that are coffee drinkers, is the whole idea of going out there and killing somebody simply because you didn't get your caffeine. So I know there's all kinds of little things that you can do to get your coffee, even whenever a drive-through or a hotel isn't available. So we'll try to talk about that next week. Also, too, it hit me that there are mods that I would like to do to my Jeep that I'll probably never get. Zabo is getting one done right now. Maybe it's done by now. Getting a full cage, aftermarket cage, put into his JLU, and I think a cage is just so wonderful. I'll probably never get one. I guess the show could take off, and I could have lots of money, and I'd have one in the Gladiator. Well, that Gladiator would look completely different if I had too much money. So anyway, you can be part of our weekly Zoom meeting. Just go to jeeptalkshow.com/contact to find out how to join. You know, you can submit your questions for our roundtable. Just go to jeeptalkshow.com/contact to find out how. It's a reoccurring theme, folks. Let's go there. All right, so we're going to be talking with somebody this coming Friday that has a Cherokee Trailhawk. His name is Jason. He actually does guided tours off-road to a bunch of other Cherokee Trailhawks. And I think he told me in the interview that he had a non-Trailhawk out there, and he was shocked that it was able to do so much of the trail, and they didn't have to drag it the entire way. You know, kind of the way we talk about those Jeeps in name only. And yes, I did give him a hard time. I asked him when we got done with the interview, I said, hope you don't mind me teasing you about your Cherokee Trailhawk. And he goes, no, it was funny. It was respectful. Not a problem. So, yeah, I did give him some shit, but that's what you guys would expect, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would have asked, what parking lot do you set your trail ride up in?
So you guys listen for this. He said that his ex had a Gladiator on 37s. And I did ask him, I said, did the relationship end? She just couldn't be with somebody with a Cherokee Trailhawk?
Right.
He said
or
no.
Did she get tired of waiting for him?
This guy has a 3.5-inch lift on this Cherokee Trailhawk. And actually, we've done an interview with him out at the Mid-America Expo that you can look on our YouTube channel and see his rig. Actually, we use some of the same video footage in the interview. It's a really cool thing, and he's doing something that it's different because, you know, we all know the easy thing to do, especially from the T standpoint, would be to get a Wrangler or a Gladiator or even one of the older Jeeps that was something that you would consider to be an actual Jeep, you know, with solid axles. It was a very interesting conversation. It was a lot of fun having him on the show. All right, everyone. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Trailhawks are very capable. I've been out with 3 of them on the trail. 2 of them, the only problem was ground clearance.
Yeah.
That 3-inch lift might work. The other one were 2 girls that came down, first time off-roading. They trashed their Trailhawk. Next year they show up at a jamboree. They've got a Wrangler.
Sometimes that's what it takes to learn. And if you look at the videos that we have up on YouTube, you can tell this guy's taking it off road. He actually has on his YouTube channel, he has Black Bear Pass. So he was doing Black Bear Pass with his Trailhawk. And I guarantee you, it is not typical, and it makes it interesting. Just seeing if it's going to succeed. All right, everyone, that's a wrap for this week's Jeep Talk Show Roundtable. A big thank you to all of our Zoom participants. You guys make this so much fun and informative every week. I really, really appreciate you guys being here. And, of course, a shout-out to everyone watching us live on YouTube. We had lots of interaction between our viewers on Instagram and on YouTube tonight. Thank you for your comments. It's a lot of fun seeing that interaction. We encourage you to be here with us in the Zoom meeting, but if you'd rather be part of the peanut gallery, we love that too. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Remember, you can join us again next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time for more Jeep Talk random questions and always a few rapid trails. Don't forget to visit jeeptalkshow.com/contact to find out how you can be part of the conversation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
Broadcasting since 2010.
All right, so we're still live, but you guys are more than happy to talk about anything you want to talk about, and including what we've already talked about. Maybe you didn't get in everything that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we had a trail hawk show up on when we was at the top of Wildcat Mountain. I don't know if you remember that, Tony, but he was fixing to head down the wrong end of that. We stopped him, told him to go back around a different direction.
Were you there for the Jeep Talk Show event where we had a one wheel drive Toyota try to follow along with us at Hidden Falls?
Yeah, and Andrew was trying to drag him up the hill.
Has anybody heard from Andrew recently?
He's in Alaska, Prudhoe Bay.
Oh, nice. He's missing, or he's actually up there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was talking about EJS, because he backed out.
Oh, I didn't know he had actually agreed to go.
Yeah, he was going at one point. This is about 2
Man, I bet you that is just a gorgeous place to be working.
Oh, in the summer, yeah. Fuck the winter.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.